Hello, my name is Angela Carey, and this is my case study speech. So, in this case study, Gabe Silva was being observed for ADHD by a special education teacher. The special education teacher came in on two different occasions to track his behavior. During this time, the special education teacher documented how many times Gabe left his seat unattended, as well as document how many times Gabe engaged with other students in conversation. The special education teacher used a stopwatch to see how long Gabe stayed focused before he became distracted again. During this observation, she didn't stare at Gabe. She looked at the whole classroom so that he didn't feel like he was being the target of the class. Gabe was also tried to draw the special education teacher into conversation as he went to go sharpen his pencil, asking questions like what she was doing. So, based on the special education teacher observation, she suggested Gabe's parents be invited to the school for a conference. At, excuse me. At this point, Susan, the teacher, was asked to gather all of Gabe's grades and a list of any concerns that they may have to ask Gabe's parents. The Silvas did agree to come in for a conference. When Mr. Silva came in to the conference, he had his work clothes on and spoke well, but he did have an English accent. And Miss Silva was very shy and didn't seem comfortable with her English. Mr. Silva shared that Gabe was the oldest child during the conference. He shared that Gabe was the oldest child in the family, that there were three brothers and one sister. The parents of Gabe Silva wanted him to be successful and to do what the teacher tells them that Gabe needed to do. Mr. Silva would make sure Gabe did not or did what he needed to do or be punished. Susan suddenly felt very uncomfortable about Gabe getting punished. Gabe meant well. He wasn't, mean to any of the kids. He couldn't stay focused. The special education at that point stepped in and said Gabe thought that Gabe could do better if he were more organized. Mr. and Miss Silva was asked if Gabe brought his assignments home and if he had a regular place to complete them. Miss Silva asked Gabe every day about his homework. Gabe had it sometimes, and then other times he didn't. When Gabe had his homework, he would complete it up at the table while Miss Silva was cooking dinner. Susan suggested an assignment notebook to where Miss Silva would sign it and make sure that it was brought back the next morning. At that point, Miss Silva did agree to that plan. Then Susan also suggested that the kitchen was too distracting for Gabe, and he would need more of a quiet place. Miss Silva said that she tried letting him do his homework assignments in the bedroom, but he would only finish one question, and but six other projects on his devices would be completed. Miss Silva then split it up to where Gabe would do a quarter of his homework, and then he would come help her with dinner, cutting up some things. Miss Silva felt Gabe was more relaxed when he did a number of short activities instead of sitting there the whole duration of time. The principal informed Mr. Silva that Gabe was good at sports. Mr. Silva also tried to play with Gabe when he got home from work, no matter how late it was. Susan suggested because Gabe was more inattentive and active with his peers that his parents should take him to be tested for ADHD. At that point, Mr. Silver was visibly upset, and Miss Silver's eyes began to tear up. Mr. Silver didn't want Gabe on those type of medications. The special education teacher stepped in and said it wouldn't mean Gabe would need medication, but that he could qualify for special services that could help him. Mr. Silva didn't want Gabe in any special schools or classrooms. The special education teacher reassured them if Gabe was identified as ADHD, he could still stay in Miss Susan's classroom. Nothing would be done without signed agreement, and they would be invited to participate in all meetings. The school would need their signed agreement to create and implement a plan before anything could change. The Silvas left the meeting looking worried but ready to talk about the next steps with Gabe. Susan also left worried. Susan was worried that she will have to make changes in order to accommodate Gabe. And that completes my case study. Thank you very much.